This video is brought to you by Squarespace. From online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the perfect place to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Good evening, hello and welcome back to TGTV, and more specifically, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to, once again, for the millionth time, YouTube Square. This is not a normal churn though. Tonight, I welcome back the 912 to my channel. My Porsche 912 from 1966 is back on the channel. You may well have seen the collection video a little while back that I did, collecting it from its restoration. I'm now going to take it out for a spin, hoon around in it. I'm going to give you some driving impressions. What exactly it's like to drive around a car that is 54 years old. So we're going to jump in, we're going to go for a little spin. Hopefully it's going to start. Fingers crossed it starts. I'm going to put a GoPro in the car, outside the car. We can listen to it. Hopefully it'll spit some flames. Try and have a bit of a laugh. And also I'm going to go into how much it's cost me to get it sorted. You will notice that it doesn't exactly look like it's been sorted, but believe you me, if you've seen the last video with it, you'll realise that a hell of a lot of work has actually been done to it, and this stuff really isn't cheap. So I'm probably going to make a mug of myself by telling you all how much it's cost me to end up with a car that looks exactly the same and still drives pretty much as it did before. So we're going to jump in then, first and foremost. There she is, look at her, just sat there, look at her, just sat there. She's a good old girl, and you'll notice over there, my former 911T is there also, waiting in the wings. So it's quite cool actually to have two generations of Porsche next to each other. There'll be more on that car very, very soon, so we'll get into that. Hello. We'll get into that very soon, and we'll do some videos with that car. However, this evening is about the 912. So as I touched on at the beginning, and also in the collection video, if you haven't seen that, the car ostensibly looks the same as it did before. There aren't any marked real changes to the external of the car, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I like it. It's in Irish green, it's got 54-year-old paint on it, and you'll see there are irregularities and missing bits of lacquer and all sorts of bits and bobs going on with the paint already. But that's what I like. It's a bit of patina or patina, depending on how you say it. Coming around the car though, the only major difference is this panel has been filled in. There's a hole that's been filled in there, but we'll go into that in the body of work that has been done on it. There's been about 100 hours spent on this car, and again, you'll probably still be shouting, what have they been doing? Because if they spent 100 hours on that car, why is it still so scruffy? Indeed, it still does need a little bit of bodywork. There's like cracks here as well. It's not ideal. It really isn't ideal. However, I'm going to keep an eye on that, make sure there's not huge amounts of rust creep, and I don't care. This isn't a car that I'm going to do nut and bolt restoration on yet anyway. I'm definitely not going to do it yet, if indeed I do it at all. I think it suits looking age and period correct. When I see one of these and they're kind of like gleaming and they've been resprayed and everything's been replaced, I just think, oh, you may as well have just gone and bought a 992. Right, let's jump in then, and then we're going to go for a little spinneroony. Before I kick off then, that is actually a modern head unit, but it looks like the original one, but there's Bluetooth and all sorts of stuff, so I can play my Jamie Jones on there, and we got the original little badge there. This is all original still, that's why it's disgusting. I may well change that, but I actually quite like the fact it's pretty scruff. It's even missing the 912 badge there as well. Hell, really. There's actual hell in here. That's all split, but I quite like it, it's rustic. As I've touched on before, this is a Momo Prototipo wheel. All the original dials. The mileage actually says 36,000. I think that must be 136,000, although the guy I bought it from was insisting there's actually a barn find with that low miles on it. And the paperwork does suggest that that might be legit, but I can't believe this has only done 36,000 kilometers. I don't know. I don't really care, actually. And that's where the key goes. We've got standard interior here, and this is like a wizard sleeve just billowing over here. I might get this retrimmed, but again, I don't really think so. I don't really care. Again, like a little insight that it's got phone prep in here. Anyway, let's fire her up. Fingers crossed she starts, and we'll go for a little pootle around London. I'm going to go into exactly how much all this has cost me, and whether or not it's worth doing, and whether or not I've actually been ripped off, whether I put good money into bad, whether or not this car is actually worth now what I've put into it. Moment of truth then. Will she start? Key turn round, give it a couple of seconds, let all the fluids move about. Little pump. Yay! That's the excitement. You never know whether it's going to start. People will look at me like a nutter. Absolute nutter. I'm going to put on my seat sash. It's not really a belt, it's more of a sash. So I'm going to put it around my waist there. I don't think it's a legal requirement for these to have seat belts. Although it is on the jobs list. Well, it was on the jobs list, but I forgot to actually say it was on the jobs list. Right, we're off. We're off, we're off, we're off. Goodness me, here we go. So, what many people don't realise about this car, it is a dogleg gearbox. So first gear is where you would ordinarily expect second gear to be, and then second gear is where you would ordinarily expect, you get the idea. It is a 6-speed, I believe. Well, I found 6 gears on the motorway earlier. So then, let's get down to some numbers, because you all want to know how much money I've ploughed into this, how much money I've lost, how much these are worth, and all the rest of it. You love numbers. So the original book of work and the original inspection on this thing was about, goodness me, there's Boris bikes and unscrupulous youths everywhere. I fear I will be murdered. Seats folded flat there. So being drum brakes, it's not the most efficient at stopping. Up into second. You kind of go across to second. So, what are these on the market? If you want to go and buy one of these, they start, I think, 35 grand, maybe, around 40 grand. If you want a car with matching numbers that's pretty well sorted, you're looking at 50 to 60 grand, thereabouts. This is a matching numbers car. I do like this car, actually. It's very small, so you know where everything is around you. It's only got one wing mirror on the left there, and it's all but useless. You can't see anything out of it. It wasn't a legal requirement to have 2 wing mirrors, ridiculously, and it still isn't. It's not a legal requirement to get this taxed. It's not a requirement to get this MOT'd either. So all those things, the things that you see as normal in modern cars, you don't need to do any of that stuff. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent. So for a well-sorted one of these, they're about 55, 60 grand, and that's something that's probably had like nut and bolt restoration done, and that's proper sorted. But for a bit of a turd like this, 35k, I bought this for £30,000, and I have spent now, in total with the original book of work, which is about £1 grand, and the work that they've just done on it, I think it came to about £12,000, which is actually kind of where I expected it to be. I'm quite pleased it wasn't any more than that. Because if it had been, then I probably would have had to just drop a skip on it, call the insurance company and start again. No, I'm joking. So about £11,000 or so I've put into this car on top of the original 30 or so that I paid for it. Now, does that stack up as good value? Have I made my money back? If I went and sold this tomorrow, would I be able to get all my cash back? God. Hyde Park Corner and this is mayhem. It is good fun. Do you know what? You have to think about what you're doing in here. You can't just bat around, cruising, arm up, kind of not caring, not being stressed. None of that. You've really got to think about it. And it reminds me in some ways, and many other ways it doesn't remind me of it, the Carrera GT. You've got to keep your wits about you. You've got to know what's going on, and you've got to see everything around you. Because the brakes are so shoddy, you can't get away with just kind of stamping on the anchors and thinking you'll get away with it, because you absolutely can't. Every pothole is the potential for something falling apart. One thing I would say, it drives so much nicer now. Obviously the chassis is not now 90% rust, so it does feel a lot tighter. And I've got new shocks from Coney as well. It's got new suspension the whole way around, which is key good. So the whole thing just feels more tight, more nimble, and it goes around corners and stuff. It's a lot of fun. Do I regret buying this? No, absolutely not. Do I think this will be a silly financial... Goodness me, clutch down again. In we go. We're back in first, ladies and gents. Do I think this will be a silly financial decision years to come? Will I regret this? I don't think so. I think these are good news. I think they are undervalued. I don't think these things are as sought after at the moment as they should be, and I think they represent very good value for money. I think they represent a great place to start classic Porsche ownership. Now, I need to spend a lot more money on this thing to get it even vaguely acceptable concourse wise. I don't think it's ever going to get there, and the next stages for this car are going to be the engine. I'm going to get the engine kind of rebuilt to an extent. That'll be another sort of 8 to 10 grand thereabouts, and then you really are in the territory of spending money on something that it just isn't worth doing unless you love it. So yeah, there we have it. I did not buy this car to make money. I never thought, you know, this is going to make me rich. I've always wanted a little classic 60s Porsche, and here we go. If you're considering it at home and you think, oh, I've got 30 grand, I'll go and buy one of these, just be prepared that if you take one of these into a specialist like 912 Revival Cars, you will get a horrendous list of jobs. The bills rack up very, very, very quickly, and you can instantly find yourself 20k deep into something you originally thought was a bit of cheaper fun. It's not for the faint-hearted, but what I would say, over the next 5 to 10 years, these things are going to be absolutely fine. I don't envisage they're going to drop a huge amount of cash. I think you're going to be pretty safe money, 40k, pretty much ongoing, really. If you are going to buy one of these, what would I look for? I'm not best placed to advise you, to be fair. I bought this completely blind. I turned up to the guy's driveway and I said, oh, it's green, I like green, I'll have it, and then drove it home. It wasn't even roadworthy when I drove it. I didn't look at anything. You should be checking like the kidney bowls and things like that. I just checked it with like the chassis number matched on the V5, and that was pretty much about it, to be honest. Really shoddy due diligence for me. But what I would try and go for is, if you're going to keep it original like I am, try and go for matching numbers. So that's the engine number matching the chassis, and the paint matching up and being original to what the car originally was built with. This was originally an Irish green car. Indeed, it's still wearing its original coat of paint in many places. That's why it's so hellish. But fundamentally, I think the matching numbers cars will stack up value-wise long term, obviously, than a non-original car. I treat this as though I treat kind of a vintage watch. You want it all original, despite it looking scruffy. It's part of the history of the car, it's part of the stories of the car, where the car's been and what it's been through. So yeah, that's just me though. I might be a bit weird, but it also means that you can get one a bit cheaper. Where would you buy one? Have a look on Auto Trader, and there should be some about. Last time I checked, there weren't a huge amount around. I would have a look on 912 Revival's website. They may well still have the models I mentioned in my collection video on there. There's a Targa, and that's about it. There are a lot of 911s around for sort of 60, 70 grand. They tend to be modified, they tend to be non-matching, and they tend to be kind of the higher leggy, less desirable ones. A lot of these cars have had bodge fixes on them, so I really would advise you, just take someone who knows what they're doing to come and have a look. Look for the hot spots, the usual things that have rotted away, and don't go and buy one blind. I should have held on and looked for one that, you know, was proper and got and seen a few before purchasing, but I saw an Irish green matching numbers car and I was like, sold. I should have negotiated a bit better as well. You know, even if you go to view one and it's a wreck, it gives you negotiation points. You can say, you know, that needs X, Y, and Z, that needs new floor pans, that's going to be 10 grand's worth of work, you know, at least give me a few grand off the price. It gives you that haggling point. What I did was just say, yeah, oh, I like green cars. Absolute idiot, total idiot. is this it then for classic car ownership for me? For the time being, yeah, I think so. This, I feel I've kind of got where Porsche kind of started, the 911 kind of thing started in the range, and I've kind of feel like I've got its end game as well with the Carrera GT. I know obviously they've done the 918 and all that kind of stuff as well, but I feel like I've kind of got both bookends of Porsche history now in the garage, manual, kind of iconic Porsche cars. So I'm not in a rush really to get anything classic or anything at all really for that matter. So I'm quite happy, and also I've got the Carrera 4S, C4S 2002 996 in the garage as well. So all in all, I'm quite happy with where I am car-wise, and certainly Porsche-wise. I think that's going to end it then for the evening. I think that's going to end this evening's TG drive around Jackanory. Thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe. Do stay tuned to my Instagram for more with this car, and obviously YouTube for more videos with this car as well. I'm possibly being pulled over. That would not be a good end to the video. I'm not being pulled over. That's fantastic. Do you know what as well? One thing I want to touch on before I go. Old boys in this car. I have had so many conversations with good old boys in this car, literally in one afternoon. I've had 5 proper good old boys having a chat with me about this car. It does encourage the more civilized members of society to come and have a chat with you. And I've had some good conversations about guys that have had old Porsches and all the rest of it. So it's really cool. It's a really cool kind of like little club, I would say. And yeah, I'm enjoying classic car ownership. I'm very much enjoying it. So I'm going to arrange some classic car kind of meet stuff on Roadster, and there also may well be some classic car model related jamborees going on as well. So now, as I touched on at the beginning of this video is brought to you by Squarespace. There's a really cool offer coming right up, so do stay tuned. It's an exclusive offer just for you guys. If you don't know about Squarespace by now, and you really should, Squarespace are the guys that enable you to build a beautiful website. You can create a website with relative ease. You don't need to be a tech wizard. You can go on there and create a beautiful looking, efficient and effective website with just a few steps. There are a load of tools and features that Squarespace implement and allow you to implement when building your website. I'm going to run through a few of those right now, and then we'll get on to the offer. The first tool that I personally use is the subscription model. I use it with Prep Chief Notify, and the subscription model is a really great way to build value in your business. Effectively, it enables you to take monthly payments off people and build that into your site. The second thing, many of you will have noticed, I'm on social media constantly across various platforms. Squarespace's website tool actually allows you to build in social media into your site. It integrates into there perfectly, so all your social platforms will be built into the website. Very cool. The third thing, because I'm very nerdy, I enjoy this one, is the analytics side of things. You can actually drill into who is on your site, when they're on your site, what bounce rate, what pages are most popular, and really track their journey around the site, and that is key to building an efficient and effective website. The fourth thing that I really enjoy, and I actually personally use, if you have limited schedule, as I do. I claim I'm busy the whole time. I'm actually quite busy. If you've got a few hours and you want to do some content for your site, some blog posts for example, you can go and do that all and backload it onto the website, then schedule it to go up at a later date. So say you've got a day off, you can just completely smash the website for like an entire month's worth of content, and then you can build it in to release. And again, with Squarespace, when you're building your website, that tool is in there and it's really easy to use. So anyway, as I said, there is an offer right now. Start your free trial with the link below, and when you're ready to get going, you get a discount. So make sure you hit that link. It will not work if you don't hit that, and it is in the description and the pinned comment as well. So you've got 3 bites of the cherry after that. Get involved, create your websites, start your thing, and let me know how you get on. On that note, I am ending the video. Thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe, wish me luck in this, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye!